Good evening. My name is Tristan-Smythe, and you're watching The World in Focus. This week saw the inauguration of President Joe Biden in the most fractious election in US history. It now falls to him to repair the damage performed by the serial killer in chief over the past 4 years. But is it too late for this former British colony? And should Britain once again be asked to take over? King George III famously stated, "You'll be back soon, you'll see, you'll remember you belong to me." Tonight we ask, has push at last come to shove? Of course, the UK's infiltration began years ago with the export of first Doctor Who, a show that seeded the idea in American minds that only someone with a British accent can be relied upon to save the world, and Downton Abbey. Everything can be made better if one wears the right attire. And more recently, of course, a spy from the British royal family has infiltrated your nation. After marrying an American actress, because he knew his European passport was about to run out and he didn't want to have to rely on just having a British one, Prince Harry has gained top-level access to the highest office in America, Netflix. It's only a matter of time before Harry makes an 8-part series about a fully armed battalion to remind you of our love. Britain's exit from the European Union has come under intense scrutiny, though some are arguing that perhaps this level of scrutiny has come 5 years too late, and perhaps we should have calculated the economic consequences of raising our collective middle finger to the most valuable trading bloc before we threw our toys out of the fucking pram. In many ways, the Johnson government has mirrored the Trump administration. Idiotic, racist, misogynistic, improbably haired sexist buffoons who don't understand the consequences of their actions or inaction, largely because they don't appear to care about anyone or anything unless it personally benefits them to do so. Both men who have failed their countries over COVID, the US with over 1/3 deaths, the UK with the highest per capita infection rate of any country in the world, and both men who have so consistently used verifiable lies before and during their times in office that if either of them were to say, "I am lying," the general public would be wondering that even if this could be believed. But first, because everyone is in need of some light relief right now, here are some funny people saying funny things. Please pay attention. That includes you at the back.
Good evening and welcome to Vilification Tennis. It is time for us to celebrate American politics, if that is even possible. We'd like to thank our special guest, Lee Harris, joining us all the way from England. He will be back later in the show. So everybody give a big round of applause that he can't hear because you're in your living room and he's in his. Bye, Lee. We'll see you later. My name is Tim. I will be your host. And I need to bring out somebody right now who can be my co-host because I just can't do this alone. So let's bring Merritt onto the screen to join me for today's show. Merritt, where are you? There you are.
Hello.
There's Merritt. How are you tonight, Merritt?
Considerably better than I was last week.
At this time?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I understand. I dressed up. So did you. I'm feeling pretty snazzy, feeling pretty with it. We're going to celebrate a new political administration tonight. Or perhaps rather than celebrating the new one, we'll just celebrate that the old one is like fucked all right off.
I think so. I think that's probably the safer bet.
Yeah. So this is our inaugural ball. That's what we're doing. And the thing about inaugural balls is that they are charity events. So I think before we go any further, we need to point out we are raising money tonight for the Bryant Lake Bowl. We have been performing at the Bryant Lake Bowl for over a decade until basically 2020. In fact, the last time we appeared on the stage at the Bryant Lake Bowl, Merritt won our amateur show. Isn't that right, Merritt?
That is correct. And I assume until we can return to Bryant Lake Bowl and do another amateur show, that means I get the crown and the sash for another year, right?
Yeah, I can't give it to anybody else. It's just not going to happen.
It's just not safe.
Who knows when it's going to happen? We don't know when we're going to get to return to the Bryant Lake Bowl, but what we do know is they need our help. They are a small business. They are having trouble, as many small businesses are right now. So everything we raise tonight is going to the Bryant Lake Bowl. So if you give money to paypal.me/vilificationtennis, we will send that money directly onto the Bryant Lake Bowl. And you know what? In addition to the money that we raised tonight from you, the members of the cast have all pooled money together, and we have a $530 match. So that means the first $530 we raise tonight gets matched 1-for-1. And that means we are really hoping we can raise well over $1,000 for the Bryant Lake Bowl, because you know what? Sometime this year, we're going to actually be able to do a show on a stage again. And we want the Bryant Lake Bowl stage to be there so we can do it again. I don't know if anybody out there remembers Barb, our fabulous technician, but we sure miss her and we want to see her again. So, Merritt, as I talk through all of that, it does occur to me I should ask you, do you think the audience all knows what vilification tennis is?
I mean, I sure hope so, but better safe than sorry, considering this is an inaugural ball.
It is. It is. And since they're here, and hopefully they paid a lot of money for their really expensive chicken and their entertainment, they should at least know what they're getting. You're getting vilification tennis. All we do at vilification tennis is we insult each other. That's the entirety of our show. It's all we're going to do tonight. We're going to insult each other, but it's going to be very classy because we'll be insulting each other in tuxedos or lovely dresses or pearls. You're wearing pearls tonight, Merritt. I noticed that.
Oh, of course I'm wearing pearls for our, Madam Vice President, who always wears pearls. I thought it was only appropriate.
It's very appropriate. The other thing we need to do before we start, I need to make a shout out to cast member who is not here tonight, Lori Richardson Sweep. You know why she's not here tonight? Because it's her birthday. That's right. It's her birthday. She is doing a fundraiser on her page on Facebook for the Bryant Lake Bowl as well. So we are trying to raise a lot of money for the Bryant Lake Bowl. So if you enjoy this show, hell, even if you don't, if you like places that are a restaurant and a bowling alley and a theater, of which there's only one place I know of, which is the Bryant Lake Bowl, then toss a few bucks to paypal.me/vilification tennis. Enough of that. This is an inauguration. You know what we do at inaugurations? We have people performing long-winded and interesting poems. And speaking of somebody performing a long-winded and interesting poem, I'm going to bring Stephanie to the screen right now for our first poetry recitation of the evening. Take it away, Stephanie.
Thank you. I hopped off the plane at LAX with a dream and my cardigan. Welcome to the land of fame, excess. Whoa, am I gonna fit in? Jumped in the cab, here I am for the first time. Look to my right and I see the Hollywood sign. This is all so crazy. Everybody seems so famous. My tummy's turning and I'm feeling kind of homesick, too much pressure and I'm nervous. That's when the taxi man turned on the radio and the Jay-Z song was on. And the Jay-Z song was on, and the Jay-Z song was on. So I throw my hands up. They are playing my song. The butterflies fly away, nodding my head like, yeah, moving my hips like, yeah. I got my hands up, they're playing my song. They know I'm gonna be okay. Yeah, it's a party in the USA, yeah? Yeah. It's a party in the USA. Thank you.
All right, Stephanie, thank you very much. That was super moving. That was super moving. It was very patriotic. I feel a lot more like an American before I did before. A lot more American before I did before. What the fuck was that? I feel a lot more American than I did before. So American, I want us to do some vilification tennis. Some American vilification tennis. Not British vilification tennis. Fuck that. Sorry, Lee. All right, let's bring some Americans to the front to do some vilification tennis. We've got two teams of Americans for some vilification tennis tonight. Please welcome to the stage, Team America, Molly and Dave. There they are. Oh, wow. They are extra American. They are extra American. Now they are facing off against Team Patriot. Team Patriot is Kelvin and Stephanie. There's Team Patriot. They look super patriotic. All right, so here's the deal. The game is played just like tennis. We have two teams, Molly and Dave versus Kelvin and Stephanie. If I score a point, I will hold this up in front of my camera so that everybody can see that I have scored a point. I will also say point out loud. like I have something useful to add to this show. We're going to give the serve to Molly and Dave. The score is going to stand at 8-8, and I am going to say service.
Calvin's dick is like an icicle. Once it stabs you one time, it disappears.
Yeah, well, Molly has a smile like an Edison light bulb. Yellow.
You know, my wedding was a black tie affair. Kelvin's wedding was more of a zip tie affair.
Whoa.
Dave is so dumb, he calls a glass a glass and a plastic glass a plastic.
Stephanie is like Folgers. Her can is not welcome on my counter.
Well, you know, it is fancy dress night and everything. So I just thought I'd mention that Louboutin heels are famous for having a red bottom. So is Dave.
Oh.
You know, Stephanie here is so dumb. When she saw John Legend at the inauguration, she thought it was a guide to all the Johns at the inauguration.
Vodka is derived from a Polish word meaning little water. Molly is derived from a Celtic word meaning little boobs.
Oh.
Calvin has a one-term dick, and it's exactly as sad as it sounds.
Wow. That is an American dick. Service.
Stephanie's like a board game. She's less of a mess if she's horizontal.
Oh.
Well, Molly's vagina is like a Waffle House. It's dirty, it's greasy, and it attracts Confederates.
Oh.
Oh.
You know, at the inauguration, Stephanie would only wear fake fur, not because she likes animals, but because it matches her personality.
Oh.
You know, once I said Dave is the type of person who stabs you in the back. So he stabbed me in the front.
Stephanie's so dumb, she rented a rug doctor to do her pap smear.
Stephanie's like, what's wrong with that? All right, service. Service.
Calvin's sex life is more dead than Mira Furlan's MySpace page.
Whoa.
Dave thought a black and white ball was a cotillion for cows.
You know, Kelvin wanted an insurrection because it's the closest thing to an erection he's going to get.
You know, Dave once baked a pan of brownies because the Girl Scouts wouldn't fit.
Calvin's a lot like a burned out light bulb in a 3-bulb fixture. I can ignore his presence for months.
Molly refuses to wear a top hat because she's really more of a bottom.
You know, Stephanie here is a lot like a Bernie Sanders mitten. Well, her vagina is a lot like a Bernie Sanders mitten. So cartoonishly stretched out, people across the room take note.
Oh.
Dave's mom is so fat, she once caught large pox.
Point. It was a subtle vaccine reference too. I appreciate that. Herd immunity, folks. You heard it here first. Service.
Calvin's mom is so fat, U.S. law requires a 2-man ceremony for folding her clothes.
Molly, you're such a slut that every pair of heels you own are fuck me heels.
You know, at the inauguration, Biden swore in on a giant Bible. Kelvin's equivalent would be a giant stack of Victoria's Secret catalogs.
Molly's tits are a lot like a Hershey bar. They're flat and they break off in chunks.
Calvin thinks a cummerbund is when you pull out during doggy style.
Do you guys ever notice how Dave kind of like looks like a human version of Scrooge McDuck?
You know, Trump said that he had the biggest inauguration. Well, if you go by mass, Kelvin's mother was there.
Your mom's size is like the capital of Ireland, Dublin.
Oh,
Oh.
Stephanie's like a coffee snob. She grinds her own bean daily.
Well, Molly, I hear that you are so stupid that you listen to a serial killer podcast because you're a big fan of the Tricks Bunny.
You know, Stephanie is so stupid. She thinks Pillow Talk is the My Pillow Guys podcast.
Oh.
uh,
Dave is so dumb. Once he was on a baseball team and the manager asked him to throw a pitch. So he said, okay, it's like Jaws, but in space.
I need to make really clear I'd watch the shit out of that. I would. All right, service.
Sex with Calvin is like going to one of those diners where the wait staff berates you and they're bad at sex.
Professor Plum did it in the kitchen with the revolver. Molly did it in the open with everybody.
You know, at the inauguration, we got our first woman vice president, and Stephanie here is basically the president of Vice.
Oh.
Well, Dave, I hear that you volunteer at the animal shelter, putting down all the unwanted puppies.
Oh.
Calvin's
No.
so stupid, he thinks Depo Provera is a Jedi from the prequels.
You know, you're,
Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, it does sound like one. It really does. Okay, service.
Calvin's so stupid, he thinks only music stores can get looted.
Oh, it's not funny. That's not funny. That was a Lutz are from England. That was an English reference. This is an American show. That was terrible. Service.
You know, Biden signed an executive order stopping the Keystone Pipeline. So, Kelvin, you won't be the only one who's not laying some pipe.
Well, I hear that sex with Dave is like playing a classical guitar. One hand's around the neck and the other is pulling gut strings.
Stephanie is a lot like Jesus Christ. She's gonna die alone at 33.
you know, your mom really made some interesting home decorating choices. I've never seen a bathroom with a buffet before.
You know, I heard that Trump was even kicked off of Pornhub, and I was very surprised because, well, similar to Stephanie, he did fuck an entire country.
I hear that Molly's vagina is a lot like the Biden inauguration. It's cold and televised nationally.
Oh.
Yeah, well, Stephanie, your pregnancies are like Convergence 2021. Unplanned.
Nah.
You know,
Point. Although that
You're not wrong.
makes me very sad, to be completely honest. Not about her pregnancies. Who gives a shit? But anyway, what? You didn't carry any of them to term. Service.
You know, Stephanie is so stupid. She thinks a presidential pardon is when you get clemency to Jolene for stealing your man.
you know, most people go to the bathroom to take a shit. You go to the shit room to take a bath.
Calvin, your mom is so fat, she can only staycate the premises.
That is game to Molly and Dave. Victory for America.
Yeah.
But that meant patriotism lost. Yeah, hi, Merritt. What's going
Hi,
on?
Well, I know that Molly and Dave won, but honestly, it sounds like our audience was most excited to see Kelvin. We have several people shouting out to him, saying that they've missed him, and another person simply said, Kelvin is so Kelvin. So welcome back. We missed you.
That is the most honest thing any audience member has ever said to us. Clearly, our audience is not from fake news. All right. Well, it's time to bring back everybody, including our fabulous special British guest star, Lee Harris, for a game we call My Prez, Your Prez. This is for everyone. And what we're doing, this is a little rap battle-ish, this is going to be teams of 4-on-4-on-1. Lee is against all of you because that's how it is, England versus America. And we are going to start with, I'm going to give you all a prompt. And for my Prez, your Prez, we are going to start with the Beach Boys. The Beach Boys. So these are not boys on the beach. These are, in fact, the band, the Beach Boys, who sang songs like California Girls and Surfin' USA. Molly.
My Prez commands a room. Your Prez stayed in his room.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice. Kirsten.
Yeah.
My Prez is pet sounds. Your Prez is I get around.
Oh, that's good. Stephanie.
My Prez, good vibrations. Your Prez, too many libations.
Oh, nice. Nick.
That was mine.
Oh, wow. Kelvin.
My Prez, Sloop John B. Your Prez, Poop and Pee.
All right, whatever. Okay, we're moving on to hopscotch. Your next prompt is hopscotch. That would be a game children play on the sidewalk. They draw squares. I don't know if they have that. It's probably called something different in England. All right, James.
My Prez, squares and jumping. Your Prez, unwanted humping.
Nick.
My president, kids game. Your president, false claims.
Oh, Kirky.
My president can draw with chalk. Your president can barely walk.
That's true. All right, we are going to go on to silent movies. Silent movies. You just need to raise your hand when you have something. For those of you not aware, silent movies are movies in which people would talk, but you couldn't hear them. All right, Nick.
My president, Buster Keaton. Your president, wife is beaten.
Oh, ouch. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. And nobody else knows. Oh, Kelvin, I thought you were old enough to know about silent movies.
My Prez, classic art form. Your Prez, really bad porn.
Yeah, Molly.
My president takes his dog for walkies. Your president, too dumb for the talkies.
No. James.
My president, Charlie Chaplin. Your president, just shouldn't happen.
Oh. Lee, what do we have from Britain?
My PM doesn't have sound. Your president just fools around.
That's not wrong. Chris.
My president, silver screen. Your president has been.
Nick.
My president, Mel Brooks. Your president, bad looks.
Oh, Kelly, Kirky.
My president, when that train comes to the station. Your president is birth of a nation.
Oh! Yeah, we're moving on. We're moving on right there. Next one, we have Lake Superior. Lake Superior, that would be the largest of the Great Lakes. It is actually bordering the state of Minnesota, the state all of us are in, except Lee. He's not in a state, he's in a country. Molly, go.
My president finds lots of agates. Your president probably uses a gay slur.
Lee.
My prime minister is filled with water. Your ex-president wanted to fuck his daughter.
Oh, that's not wrong. James.
My Prez, Angelic Herald. Your president, Edmund Fitzgerald.
Oh, hits me right there. Nick.
My president, his lake is great. Your president spreads lots of hate.
Dave.
My president protects the land. Your president doesn't know how to stand.
It's true. It's weird. Chris.
My president, Iron Range. Your president should be in a cage.
Fair enough. Okay, we're going to do another one. I'm going with guinea pigs. Guinea pigs. That is small animals. They are rodents. They squeak a little bit. One member of our cast posts ridiculous numbers of videos featuring them. Yeah, Stephanie.
My president runs the land of the free. Your president,
Kelvin.
My president, something you can adore. Your president, eaten in Ecuador.
Oh.
Okay.
Which is the thing.
All right. Yeah.
They're food animals.
Yeah. Okay, Chris. Let's just move on. That's gross.
My president eats lots of carrots. Your president has no parents.
No. Molly. Oh, Molly.
My president, he's the best. Your president does animal tests.
Oh, Lee.
My president is known as a cavey. Yours just eats all of the gravy.
Oh, that's sad. All right. One more. And this is in honor of Lee. Of course, we have him here from England. So our last topic is Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens, an English writer of some renown. Some of you may have heard of him. He wrote, He wrote, I don't need to tell you what he wrote. I'm just going to let James tell you.
My president, Oliver Twist. Your president, Tiny Fist.
Okay. Kirsten.
My president's like a tale of two cities. Your president has jiggly man titties.
All right, Kelvin.
My president, A Christmas Carol. Your president, Over a Barrel.
Oh.
All right, Molly.
My president brings everyone the most. Your president, Marley's Ghost.
Oh. All right, that was my Prez, your Prez. Thank you, everybody, for playing along. All right, now here's the great thing. We're trying a new thing here at Vilification Tennis, a new platform that we are streaming from, and that hopefully allows us to do more impressive multimedia action. Now, to try that out, what we decided to before we start, it looks like we got Merritt back. Merritt, did you have anything you needed to share at this moment?
I think the winner of that game was definitely Molly with the gay slur joke. So just as we're aware, Molly, you're excellent. You should keep doing comedy.
Okay. Molly, you might have a future in this. Good to know. All right. Speaking of having a future, we decided that we would go out and talk to some children we know and find out what advice or what they'd like to say to Donald Trump as he leaves office. So we're going to start a video right now, and you get to watch what they told us.
We asked kids, if Donald Trump were here right now, what would you say to him?
Get out of here. This is not your space, and guess what? You are a meanie. Might be a little mean, but I'll say you're stupid. I would say that I'm so happy that you're probably never gonna be president again, and that you are the worst person to ever be on the surface of this planet. And I wish you couldn't even try to become a president. You are stupid. For Christmas, you're gonna have something very you don't like. I would say, shut up, Donald Trump. Just get kicked out of president. I would say that he should abandon his job and resign and just go home and maybe actually get a job. If he said, are you having a nice day? I've said, I will, but you always might have a bad day. Well, nah. You're an idiot. I hate you. I hate you. And you're a fuck. You poopy butt Donald Trump. You go away, poopy butt Donald. Poop.
All right. That was some very good advice. Thank you, kids. We really appreciate it. I'm sure that Donald Trump is watching tonight because he literally has nothing else to do. So, Mr. Trump, and I do say that, Mr. Trump, not President Trump. And that felt really good. Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump, I hope you got something out of that you can use. So, what we need to do right now, it's time for us to have a debate. Debates are a big thing in presidential politics. And what we'd like to do right now is we'd like to have a debate between England and America. Now, of course, to represent England tonight, we have an actual English person from actual England. And that, of course, is Lee Harris. There he is. He's wearing a bowler hat. That's how you know. Lee, just so we can prove to everybody watching right now that you are, in fact, in England, what time is it where you are right now?
It's currently 4:33 a.m.
4:33 a.m. And there's no way you could have made that up.
No, we don't have the internet here, so I couldn't check.
Yes. So there you go. Lee is from England. From America, he's going to be going up against Molly. Molly is his opponent. There she is. There she is. She is representing American interests. Our debate
I want
tonight.
a state and debate.
Our debate topic is biscuit or biscuit. Lee, you have the honors. And then Molly, you will have a minute for rebuttal. Lee, please defend British biscuits.
Well, of course, I don't need to defend the British biscuit. The dictionary definition of a biscuit is a small baked unleavened cake, typically flat, crisp, and sweet. I mean, how great does that sound? I mean, yours are more three-dimensional and covered with what can only be described as teenagers' zit juice. Now, our biscuits are your cookies. And who doesn't love cookies?
Oh.
And true, you have your biscuits for breakfast, which is the greatest meal of the day. But we have ours all day, throughout the day. British biscuits win.
All right, that's convincing. But before I announce a champion, Molly, I need to hear what you have to say about American biscuits. Go.
Let me tell you a story of a young girl who found herself at Kentucky Fried Chicken and opening that soft, wonderful cardboard box spotted with grease and a soft buttermilk biscuit right there with a golden top, fluffy on the inside, warm, perfect for dipping in that salty travesty of a gravy. Let me tell you another thing. Have you ever been to Red Lobster? The famous American seafood chain restaurant? That's right, bitches. Cheddar Bay biscuits. Not Cheddar Bay cookies. They are soft, hot, cheesy, and perfect. They slide down your gullet just like the crab meat. There is no better biscuit than the American biscuit, made with good old-fashioned Clabber Girl baking powder. Yes, Clabber Girl baking powder for all your Clabber Girl baking powder needs, sold in American stores. Biscuits. American biscuits, capitalist biscuits, the kind that give you the heart disease that healthcare does not pay for.
Okay, that was a really well done rebuttal, Molly. However, I'm afraid that you've been disqualified since you clearly had sponsorship. So since you were paid to participate in this debate, victory goes to English biscuits and Lee Harris. So one round to Lee. And, reminding people of being paid, normally we ask you during our show to pay us for our performance at paypal.me/Vilification Tennis. Right now, we're asking you to pay the Bryant Lake Bowl. That's right. Everything you give to us tonight will go directly to help support the Bryant Lake Bowl, our onstage home for over a decade. And we are matching the first $530 in donations tonight. So please be generous. Now, Lee, that's one win. That's one win. But there's another debate. There's another debate. And this one, you're going up against Nick. And I'm so confident in Nick's American position that I'm going to let him go first. This debate, chips versus chips.
All right. So this argument has a few different facets, and that's that in America, in most of the civilized world, we have both potato chips and corn chips. Now, Britain, they also have potato chips, but they're wrong. And I can say this is right in America for one reason, especially chips and dip. What do you call that in Britain? Is that fries and ketchup? No, fuck that. That's all wrong. Brits say crisps because the French beat them so many times historically that they refuse to say French fry. It's like how dumb conservatives in America used to say freedom fries, only like hundreds of years old, because they have that backwards ass accent and now it's considered classy. No, it's chips are crisp, crisps are bullshit.
Okay. Chips are crisps. Crisps are bullshit. That's what Nick has to say, Lee. What is your rebuttal?
Nick, you just couldn't be further from the truth. Your chips we call crisps because they're crisp. But British chips, or chips as we call them, potato oblongs deep fried in fat. Now, have no doubt that when we talk about chips, we don't mean French fries. We have those. Now, we mean fat chunks of starchy potato. How great does that sound? Fat chunks of starchy potato, deep fried, that you can slather in vinegar and salt and ketchup. Chips are big. The fewer you get out of a potato, the better. Chips mean business. And let's face it, no one's interested in fries and fish. British chips stop you from being hungry. American chips just stop you from being healthy.
Interesting. Very convincing. All right, I have to decide on a winner here. Now, the thing that really decides it for me is what Lee said about the bigger, the better, which implies that a baked potato is actually just the best chip. And that doesn't make any sense to me at all. The winner is Nick. Nick, congratulations. You took it for America. You've got one more chance, Lee.
Okay.
You have one more debate. Either England wins or America wins. Now, you've been arguing pro. You've been arguing pro. However, for this final round against Kirsten, you will be both be arguing as to which is worse. Which is worse? So, Lee, your topic is Brexit.
Okay.
Kirsten, your topic is Donald Trump. Lee, you will go first. Sorry, I should clarify. President Donald Trump. Lee, good luck.
I do feel a little like the odds are stacked against me here, but okay. Well, 5 years ago, the British public voted by the slimmest of margins to leave the European Union. And the European Union is basically a club. Almost every European country was a member, and the rules were simple. You can come and visit us anytime. You can come and live with us anytime. You can come and work with us anytime. And when we buy and sell things from each other, we won't charge each other any extra tax or anything like that. We'll work as if we're just one big happy family. And then 5 years ago, a bunch of politicians decided that it would benefit them personally if the UK wasn't part of this union. And they lied to the British public about the benefits of leaving. And now we've left. And now we pay more for our goods. And now we can't travel freely anymore. And everyone in Europe hates us. Brexit, that's worse than Trump.
That does sound pretty bad. But Kirsten, you have an opportunity with your rebuttal to let us know how Donald Trump as president for 4 fucking years was worse. Good luck.
You know, I can say that we can go back and forth about the long-term political ramifications, about the polarization in both of our countries due to our respective topics on this. And certainly I can understand how awful it must be now to be in England, to be in the UK, and to be kind of stuck on your island there. I mean, really, it's like you can't have people coming in as easy. You can't leave as easily. It's like you're just stuck home alone. Donald Trump has ruined more than just politics for us. He has also ruined one of our most beloved Christmas classics, something that we truly held on to for years, thought that no matter what happens in America, I mean, we could have a civil war, nuclear bombs could go off, we will always have Home Alone. But you know what? Now, none of us can watch Home Alone 2 without just having a few moments of... And that hurts. That doesn't just hurt us politically. That hurts us culturally. And at this point, culture is the only thing America has left.
I
right.
was really hoping that that we weren't going to go the Home Alone route. I concede.
Lee concedes, and I can't disagree, because quite frankly, I watched Home Alone 2 last Christmas, and I got to the Donald Trump cameo and I threw up and I couldn't finish it. So it's been ruined. My Christmas was ruined because of the Donald Trump presidency. That is a victory for America. England loses. Lee,
USA.
England loses
USA.
again. You lost over 200 years ago. You lost again now. That's as it should be. Get out of here, Lee. Except don't, because this next thing we're going to do also features Lee. We're going to play a game called First 100 Insults. This is a variation of the Vilification Tennis home game. It is for Lee, Kelvin, Chris, and myself. Yeah, no, I'm not even kidding. I'm playing this fucking game too. So here's the deal. Merritt, our fabulous co-host, is going to be delivering a insult topic. Now, for the first topic, all four of us are going to write an insult off the top of our heads and deliver that insult. Merritt will select the winner, and then they will deliver the next topic. The winner's job will be to judge which of the insults the other three people write that is the best. And we will play this game until we get tired of it. So, Merritt. Oh, and also I should point out, as an audience, if you'd like us to write about a particular topic, toss that into the chat stream. Merritt will take a look and might choose your idea instead of the idea that Merritt already came up with. So, Merritt, let's start with our first topic. What do you got?
I think tonight we should start with impeachment.
Impeachment.
Right. You know, that thing that we're doing twice to former President Donald Trump. In case you didn't notice this morning, there is some news that they are delaying the impeachment trial until the beginning of February because we did just get Biden in. So they want to give him a second to settle in before we throw him to the wolves. So impeachment is our first prompt.
Down, 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 down.
Tim looks like he's ready. Lee looks like he's ready.
I have something. Let's just put it that way. You know what? Lee is a lot like impeachment. Over half America can't understand him.
All right. Lee, did you have a rebuttal?
Tim is so stupid that he thinks impeachment means buying extra fruit from the market.
Ah. And Chris, what can I do for you?
Kelvin's butthole is like impeachment, done twice by 435 people.
Calvin, a rebuttal?
Oh dear. The impeachment trial is overseen by the Chief Justice, whereas you're overseen by everybody because, you know, you do things out in the open without any sense of privacy or decorum.
Excellent. I do love an appeal for decorum. I'm gonna have to go with Chris. I think that was an
That is
excellent
so
joke.
weird. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that Chris won that one.
It's just the pearls. The pearls just draw me in every time. I have to solidarity, but you know. So let's see. How about Garth Brooks for our second topic? So Garth Brooks was a country singer. He created quite a stir for performing at the inauguration, though he really shouldn't have, considering he has performed at multiple inaugurations and for multiple sitting presidents. Incidentally, he did not perform at the inauguration of Donald Trump, despite being asked and invited. He says because of a tour conflict. And of course, we believe him because who would lie about something like that? So Garth Brooks. All right, who's ready? Let's start with Lee this time.
Okay, so we have Kelvin is so sad because he only has friends in low places.
Oh. Tim, are you ready?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Kelvin thought Garth Brooks was played by Dana Carvey in Wayne's World.
Well, Calvin, they're ganging up on you. Are you ready to refute these claims?
Sure. Garth Brooks always sang about friends in low places, but you're really too low even for him.
All right, Chris, what are we thinking for a winner here?
Oh, as much as I love to see him squirm, I'm gonna have to give that one to Tim.
Yes. Once tonight, I come out on top. None of you can take that away from me.
Is that our next topic?
I'm a one-term president, y'all.
All right. Next, let's do a Biden nip slip. This is one from our audience. A Biden nip slip. So for those not in the know,
I don't have to write this. I'm so lucky.
So for those not in the know, a nip slip, traditionally when a person who presents a bit more femme accidentally reveals the areola area of the chest, because of course everything else is fine, just the areola is forbidden in America, in most places. Recently, Minneapolis Park Service did decide that women are allowed to be topless in Minneapolis parks. So when it gets warm and we can be people again, keep that in mind.
Please don't do it now. It has nothing to do with any indecency thing. It's just a really bad idea. Just a bad idea.
It's also very cold.
Yeah. I think Lee said Lee raises.
Lee looks ready. Yes. Let's have Lee go first again.
Okay, this might be a little British. I don't know whether you have this phrase there, but unlike Biden, Tim has always been a right tit.
I understood it, Lee. I got
it. Calvin, let's not make you go last this time.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay. You're so racist. Your idea of a nip slip is an accidental slur on the Japanese.
Ooh.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Excellently done, though. Chris?
Well, I understand that Lee's dick is so small, when he drops trow, it looks like a Biden nip slip.
That wasn't bad, but I think just because I happen to understand it, I'm going to have to give it to Lee.
All right. So for this topic, let's go with insurrectionists. So
insurrectionists. Insurrectionists.
Insurrectionists. Correct.
Okay.
So insurrectionists, which might have been a term I would think that the British would have applied to American colonists during the Revolution, given we overthrew the British, I believe. Lee, do you want to combat that?
Who knows?
So, and as we are all overly aware, there was an attempt at a coup shortly before Inauguration Day, which failed as far as we can tell, but who is to say? Only the future will tell. Well, Tim looks ready, Chris looks ready, Kelvin looks like he's having an existential crisis, so let's get going. Chris, go right ahead.
Tim is such a nerd. He thought that the Capitol was stormed by the cast of a Star Trek film.
Oh.
Tim, your rebuttal?
Yeah, Lee thought insurrectionists greeted each other by saying, blah. Sorry, that's super, I don't care. I wrote something. Shut up, everybody.
All right, Calvin, you can do better than that, I think.
You are like that zip tie guy who broke into the nation's capital. You get caught out by your mom.
Ooh.
Compelling. Lee, Your response.
Kelvin is so stupid that he thinks that insurrection is cover against morning wood.
Oh no, Lee, you don't understand. You get to pick the winner this round.
Oh, I get to pick the winner.
Yes, you're the judge. I'm
in
just the
which case,
host.
I win. I'm unfamiliar with the rules of this round. I'm going to go with Kelvin because I feel really, really sorry for him.
So do the rest of us.
And that's a pity win. We
Pity
love
laughs.
them.
Yeah, we take them. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Why don't we call for a murder hornets used to track down the insurrectionists? Why don't we try it that way? Do you remember
we gotta
murder
use
hornets?
all of that?
Murder hornets?
Okay.
Using murder hornets to track people down, because obviously that we didn't get weird enough in 2020 going into this year. We need to step it up. I think murder hornets were just before the coronavirus hit in the US, so it was a very short blip on the radar. And Calvin, for once, you get to just relax.
Yeah.
And everyone else with me. It will be great.
I don't have to think. It's great.
For all of maybe 30 more seconds, but hopefully not. 30 seconds is a long time. I think Lee is ready. Shall we jump everything in a bit early? Lee, what's your joke on murder hornets?
This is a little obscure. Chris is so stupid that she thinks that murder hornets' original name was because they drove orange motorcycles. The murder hornet is the Vespa mandarinia.
I see. That is a little obscure. Let's go to Chris.
Well, Lee, you are so stupid. You think that a murder hornet is a lethal hairpiece for a prostitute.
Oh, and Tim?
I would like to see Lee's obscurity and raise it.
Okay.
Lee is such an asshole. His Motown band has a murder hornet section.
Calvin, what do you think?
It's the best I got.
I'm gonna have to go with Chris on this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the only one that made any sort of sense.
Okay, stay with me on this prompt. The ye hottists, right? We are ye hottists. I can explain that term to you in a moment if you need me to, Tim. But they read a forum post wrong and stormed a White Castle instead of the White House. So confusing White House with White Castle.
Kelvin, I'd like to thank you for this win very much.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I am not a nice person. So.
This is the music.
I think Lee is ready. Shall we jump back in?
Lee, are you ready?
What is your joke?
I have nothing.
Nothing. You just look confident, but Tim looks ready.
I'm ready. I'm not confident, but I'm ready. Lee thought a ye hottest was someone who prayed to Dolly Parton 5 times a day.
All right.
Okay.
Calvin, do you have something for us?
You should wear a t-shirt that says, I went to the White House for sliders and all I got was Nancy Pelosi's lectern.
Well done.
Wow. Okay,
Wow.
that is actually more difficult than I thought it was going to be. I'm gonna still go with Tim just because I like the idea of people praying to Dolly Parton.
Yes. Yes. That's two victories for me. It's 2 victories for me and you have 2. Is that right, Chris?
Yep.
And Lee, do you have one?
I
Or
don't think
two?
I have any. Oh, no, I don't.
Oh, and but no, you got one. I think Lee got one.
Lee got
Yeah.
one. Kelvin got
And
one.
Kelvin has one.
A big
Right.
fat
So
one.
that means that either this is the last one. We're going to do one more. Either Chris wins because Chris gets the point, or Lee or Kelvin loses because they're the only one with 1 point. So either way, we either have a winner or a loser at the end of this, and I feel good about that. All right. So what's our topic?
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders.
Mhm.
Bernie Sanders. That's almost. I mean, if the internet is to believe, that's kind of a softball topic.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I want this joke to be the best you can come up with. So I feel like it's a pretty fair one to offer.
Because for
Especially
the
because
last few days, anybody has been able to make Bernie Sanders funny.
yeah, which means that if you want me to laugh, you really have to try. Because I've seen so much of it now. I'm desensitized. It
Yeah,
needs to be
fair,
really exciting.
fair. All right, well, let's see what they can come up with. It looks like nothing at this point. They.
We've got eye contact.
Mm.
Let's start with Kelvin.
I think of you about as much as Bernie Sanders thinks about his hair. Not at all.
Mm,
Excellent. Chris?
that's getting real.
Lee reminds me a lot of Bernie Sanders. In the last 48 hours, we've seen his ass everywhere.
And Lee?
Kelvin is so stupid, he thinks that Bernie Sanders says fetch a lot because these days he's a meme girl.
Oh.
That
Oh no.
was good. That was good. This is tough. It's between Lee and Chris.
Yeah.
But I hate giving the win, but I'm gonna have to give the win to Chris. Chris wins with 3 points. Well done, Chris. Wow. That was a good one. That was a good one. So thank you very much, all three of you, for playing. Thank you, Merritt, for refereeing. And now what I need to do is I need to throw something else out to the audience that we're going to ask for. We need you to give us some suggestions that we're going to pick some answers out of. We need 3 band names. We need 3 solo musical artist names. We need 3 spices. And we need 3 alien species. Now that's for a game we're going to play in a little bit. But before we do that, it's time for another poetry recital. That's right. This is an inaugural ball, and that means it's time for something classy. And who's classier than Molly? Molly, let's get some classy poetry.
A poem by Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. ASL translation by Kelly Curdy and Graves Mackay. I said certified freak, 7 days a week. Wet ass pussy, make that pull out game weak. Yeah, you fucking with some wet ass pussy. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass pussy. Give me everything you've got for this wet ass pussy. Beat it up, catch a charge, extra large and extra hard. Put this pussy right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I want to ride. I do a kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth, look in my eyes. This pussy wet, come take a dive. Tie me up like I'm surprised. Let's role play, I'll wear a disguise. I want you to park that Big Mac truck right in this little garage. Make it cream, make me scream. Out in public, make a scene. I don't cook and I don't clean, but let me tell you how I got this ring. Gobble me, swallow me, drip down the side of me. Quick, jump out before you let it get inside of me. I tell him where to put it, never tell him where I'm about to be. I'll run down on him before I have a fella running me. Talk your shit, bite your lip, ask for a car while you ride that dick. You really ain't never gotta fuck him for a thing. He already made his mind up before he came. Now get your boots and your coat for this wet ass pussy. He bought a phone just for pictures of this wet ass pussy. Pay my tuition just to kiss me on this wet ass pussy. Now make it rain if you wanna see some wet ass pussy. Look, I need a hard hitter. I need a deep stroker. I need a Henny drinker. I need a weed smoker, not a garden snake. I need a king cobra with a hook in it. I hope it leans over. He got some money? That's where I'm headed. Pussy A1, just like his credit. He got a beard? Well, I'm trying to wet it. I let him taste it. Now he diabetic. I don't want to spit. I want to gulp. I want to gag. I want to choke. I want you to touch that little dangly thing that's sticking the back of my throat. My head game is fire. Pussy punani dasani. It's going in dry and it's coming out soggy. I ride on that thing like the cops is behind me. I spit on his mic and now he trying to sign me. Your Honor, I'm a freak bitch. Handcuff leashes. Switch my wig, make him feel like he cheating. Put him on his knees, give him something to believe in. Never lost a fight, but I'm looking for a beating. In the food chain, I'm the one that eats ya. If he ate my ass, he's a bottom feeder. Big D stands for big demeanor. I could make you bust before I ever meet ya. If it don't hang, then he can't bang. You can't hurt my feelings, but I like pain. If he fuck me and ask whose is it, when I ride that dick, I'ma spell my name. Yeah, you're fucking with some wet ass pussy. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass pussy. Give me everything you've got for this wet ass pussy. Now from the top, make it drop. That's some wet ass pussy. Now get a bucket and a mop. That's some wet ass pussy. I'm talking wop, wop, wop. That's some wet ass pussy. Macaroni in a pot. That's some wet ass pussy.
Really, yeah. I'm looking forward to that video going up on CNN. The comments are going to go nuts. Well done, Molly. I was moved right there. I hope you all enjoyed that poetry recital. We do have one more really remarkably patriotic poem coming up later. Maybe not more patriotic than that, because wow, I felt super American. I swelled up during that poem. Swelled up with Americanism. It's time to play a game called New Cabinet. Everybody is playing this game. That's right. All of our performers are playing this game. We are helping our good friend President Biden create a new cabinet. So what I need from Merritt at this point, I need 3 bands, because these are proposed members of the cabinet. What are our 3 bands?
Nickelback, Nirvana, and Fall Out Boy.
Nickelback, Nirvana, and Fall Out Boy. They are the 3 top candidates for the Secretary of Swearing. I need to hear best arguments for why one of those 3 bands should be our new Secretary of Swearing. Chris.
Nickelback should definitely be the new Secretary of Swearing, because out of the 3 bands named, they incite the most swearing.
Oh, interesting. All right, Stephanie.
Though I do agree with Chris's point, I'm putting my support forth for Fall Out Boy, because a lot of the millennial generation grew up with Fall Out Boy and their songs and swore for the first time as they were singing along. So both are great candidates. Fall Out Boy has that the youth factor.
Okay, youth factor. Kelvin, what do you think?
I would also like to support Fall Out Boy, because he will make all Americans my age and older swear by going like, who the fuck are they?
Okay. Kirsten.
Well, honestly, I think I have to say Nirvana, not just as a constituent of Nirvana out here in Seattle, but because I feel like swearing is a cathartic way to release pain. It's something that you do in a fit of emotion. And who's felt more pain, albeit briefly, than the lead singer of Nirvana?
Interesting. All right, James.
I think that's a lot to go through your mind. But I think I'm going to be a proponent for Nickelback because of all three bands' names, Nickelback is the one that sounds like a swear word. It's got a lot of hard consonants and plosives. It could be used as an epithet. So I choose Nickelback.
Okay. All right. Well, it looks like that's all the arguments that we have at this point. I think very compelling, but I have to really agree with Kirsten. I think our best choice for Secretary of Swearing will be Nirvana. I'll be sending Nirvana up to the Capitol Hill tomorrow. Next up, I'm going to invite audience members. We're looking for romantic comedies. We're going to need 3 romantic comedies, but before that, Merritt, I need 3 solo musical artists.
3 solo musical artists.
Yes.
Prince, Elvis, and Sia.
Prince, Elvis, and Sia. This is a really interesting topic because we are looking for our Secretary of Funk. That's right, Secretary of Funk, F-U-N-K. I think there's a front runner, but maybe there's some good arguments for someone else. Yeah, Nick.
So, I mean, obviously, Prince has the catalog and the pedigree that would make him the obvious choice for funk. But I think what people are going to ignore here when they make their arguments is that a politician is above all else a thief, and no one's going to be better at stealing the funk from others like Prince and utilizing it for the people than Elvis. So I think Elvis should be Secretary of Funk, because it's not about making the funk, it's about taking that funk from the people that make it and spreading it out for the nation.
Okay. Molly, what's your alternate point of view?
Call me old-fashioned, but I think cabinet members should be alive. So I have to say, I feel that this should be Sia, even though she is really just a not great person. I just think that despite not being very funky, she does live and breathe among us today and would therefore be probably the better person to send to the cabinet as the Secretary of Funk. Also, women make great secretaries. We know this from reading sci-fi in the 60s.
Good point. All right. It looks like we have somebody from across the pond with an idea. Lee, what do you think?
I'm going to agree that I think that Elvis would be the best choice here. What you want in any sort of public servant is somebody who's going to get on and do the job. Somebody who's not going to simply sit back and talk about doing it. They're going to actually get on with it. And I know that Elvis will do this because he will bring a little less conversation and a little more action.
That's a good point. James, what do you think about that?
First of all, to Lee's point, I think that was a euphemism for fucking. And then also, in support of Molly's call for Sia, I think it's also important to remember that in addition to really excellent bass lines, Sia has also provided us the instructions to clap your hands, and then a string of syllables put together that I can't remember. That I think are words.
That's inspiring.
All right. Stephanie, who should be our Secretary of Funk?
Dig, if you will, a picture of you and I engaged in funk. Prince is the obvious choice here. I think that sometimes we want to gloss over the obvious choice because it couldn't possibly be that. That's far too easy. No, it's easy. It's an easy choice because it's the best choice. Prince was a visionary. And you know what? We don't know he's dead. I mean, are we gonna let the elevator bring us down? Oh no, let's go.
Interesting. Chris, what do you think about that?
I'm gonna support Stephanie's, Miley's point of view here. So number one, just as good Minnesotans, we have to send Prince. Like it's obligatory. We'll be kicked out of the state if we don't nominate Prince. Second, in a rebuttal to Molly, I would also submit that Prince being dead is not a problem because a dead body would have in fact been superior to most of the cabinet members of the prior administration.
Interesting point. It looks like we have, I'm just going to let Nick, it's clear Nick wants to say something and then we'll have to make a decision.
Look, I just have a rebuttal about Prince being the choice. And it's just, I mean, I feel like, yes, as Minnesotans, we all want to send Prince, but this is just going to be the presidential election of 1984 all over again when it comes to the support of the country. This isn't the secretary for Minnesota. This is the secretary for the United States of America. And it's going to end up being 49-1, you know, and I just think that we need to avoid that.
All right, these are all good thoughts. I do need to make my decision at this point. So what I'm going to go with after all these really good arguments, it occurs to me that there's really only one of these that everybody likes, and I don't understand why, and that's the right person to be the Secretary of Funk. So it's going to be Elvis. Elvis is going to be our Secretary of Funk because people just like him. It doesn't make any sense. So Elvis is our Secretary of Funk. We are going to move on, but before we do, I'm going to throw out there that we could use some famous athletes. And when I say famous athletes, I mean really fucking famous athletes. Most of these people here are not sports fans. They need to be athletes everybody's heard of. So really, really, really famous athletes. Okay, but right now, Merritt, I need 3 spices.
3 spices? I have nutmeg, cinnamon, and anise or anise.
Nutmeg, cinnamon, and anise. They are all up to be our Secretary of the Space Force. Our Secretary of the Space Force. Kirsten, who's it going to be?
Well, I have to say, if you consume enough nutmeg, you will get high. And nothing is higher than space. So it's got to be nutmeg.
Okay, Nick, what do you think?
Look, you know, we don't need our astronauts too numb to do their job appropriately. So obviously nutmeg is right out. And condensation and bodily fluids in the air filtration and in the sensitive electronics is an issue. So we can't have too much cinnamon. I'm not saying cinnamon can't be involved with space, but it just can't be too much of it. And, you know, in the overwhelming darkness of space, I think the primary flavor behind black licorice is really an appropriate fit. And also, if people don't like black licorice, then, you know, Space Force is a military branch, and we can weaponize those flavors against our foes.
Ooh, good thought, Stephanie.
Yeah, it's kind of in a similar vein. Anise, star anise, stars, space.
Yeah, you know. All right, Molly.
I also am going to be speaking on the side of anise. And I think that it's important to remember that out in space is Uranus. And nothing goes with Uranus like anise. Anise, anise, anus. You know, these are all not coincidences. Just like Uranus, it's very important that we make sure that Uranus feels comfortable out in space. And the best way to make Uranus comfortable is to bring lots of anise. Anise,
wow.
anise.
Oh, that's quite an argument. Lee, what are your thoughts?
Well, we don't know what's out there. We don't know what sort of diseases we'll come across when we're finding and colonizing alien worlds. Cinnamon can kill bacteria, viruses, and even drug-resistant fungi. It can disrupt a particularly nasty type of bacterial colony called a biofilm that coats the surface of devices. And so I think for that reason, cinnamon should be the forerunner, because cinnamon is going to make us safe in space.
Interesting. Dave, what's your thought?
Well, the thing with, I'm going to say anise as well, because you got to be serious about space. It's definitely serious, and it's the only word that doesn't sound like a pet name for your stripper friend.
All right, that's I mean, all arguments are acceptable. That one was certainly interesting. Kelvin, how about yours?
No, yeah.
I'm going to support nutmeg for this position because most of the world's nutmeg is produced on the island of Grenada. And they put up such a vicious, prolonged fight against America back in the 80s that I figured they've got the fortitude to actually command, an enormous and important and huge thing like the Space Force.
That was a gutsy argument, since only you and I are likely old enough to remember that actual occurrence. And Lee, I forgot about Lee, but he's in England, so they probably didn't know about it over there. James, what do you think?
I'm actually going to defend Cinnamon as a stripper name. I think that if we had to bring someone who was named one of these three things, Cinnamon, potentially a stripper. We're talking about someone with an expertise at low gravity maneuvering. We're talking about someone who knows about coverage and layering. And I just feel like this is the optimal environment. So definitely going with Cinnamon, provided Cinnamon is a stripper.
Okay, Chris, we'll let you have the last word, and then I'll have to make my call.
All right. I'm also going to support Cinnamon because if we look at the logo of the Space Force, it's very clear that they stole it from Star Trek, right? I mean, I'm not the only person who thinks this.
Oh, yeah.
So we need to look to the ideals of Star Trek and Starfleet in order to make our selection for a secretary. And cinnamon is by far the spice that will boldly go where no one has gone before. Cinnamon goes with everything. There's literally no dish or drink that might not be improved by cinnamon. And that is why cinnamon should be our Secretary of the Space Force.
Okay. All right. These are good arguments. I've been thinking about it a lot. Here's the thing. Lee's scientific argument as far as cinnamon is concerned and what cinnamon can actually do is really interesting. He used real science. And that's why it's a really bad idea, because if there's any branch of the military that has nothing to do with science, it is the Space Force. So given that and the fact that somebody had to be stoned to come up with it, I'm going with nutmeg. Nutmeg is going to be our Secretary of the Space Force. Thank you all for that. We are going to do one more. I think we only have time for one more. Merritt, I think what I'd like to hear 3 romantic comedies.
50 First Dates.
50 First Dates.
27 Dresses.
27 Dresses.
4 Weddings and a Funeral.
So sort of a numerical thing. 50
Correct.
First Dates, 27 dresses, 4 weddings, and a funeral. Now, these are all up to be our Secretary of Las Vegas. That's right. Las Vegas needs its own secretary. It's too important. Has to have its own secretary. Molly, what do you think?
50 First Dates is the best choice for this. And that's because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And what happens in Drew Barrymore's day stays in that particular day until she wakes up the next day. It's very important that we bring a movie and we promote a movie to this position that will have zero memory of what happened last night. That is what Vegas is. Vegas is about waking up and going, who are you in my bed? And he's like, your husband. And you're like, prove it. I mean, that's just an example from someone's past. I just really think it's important that we put the beauty that is making fun of somebody for having terrifying short-term memory loss and really bringing that to the fore for the cabinet position for Vegas.
Good. All right, James.
Who actually runs Vegas? I'm going to tell you, it's the showgirls. The showgirls run Vegas. And if we look at which one of these titles is more likely to speak to their experience, it's 27 Dresses. If you want to look for someone who puts on 27 dresses a minute, it's going to be a Vegas showgirl. Therefore, the people who know best, both of these things, 27 Dresses all the way.
Okay, Chris.
I'm gonna support that position. I think James has made some excellent points. I'm gonna add that I've been to Vegas a lot, and I'm here to relate that nobody wears pants in Vegas. Everybody wears dresses, like literally everyone. So I think our secretary really needs to be able to relate to the population of Vegas if they're going to be the Secretary of Las Vegas, and therefore 27 dresses is the best choice.
Okay, I definitely think we need to hear from Lee next, because if there's anything that is quintessential American, it is Las Vegas. So who knows that better than somebody from England? Lee, what do you think?
I'm going to agree with Chris in that we need to have somebody that really represents Vegas. I'm also going to agree with Molly in that waking up next to somebody that you've only just met is a quintessential Vegas experience. So when you combine those two things, 4 weddings and a funeral really defines a good Friday night in Vegas.
You make a good point. That's very interesting. Dave, what do you think?
Oh, I also am in favor of, well, 4 weddings and a funeral. If you look at their advertising campaign for Las Vegas, they say, come here and get married. And what is less well known is that they also say, or maybe die.
Sure. Okay, Nick.
I'm gonna join on the defense of 27 dresses, if only because of the 3 options, it's the only one that's directed by a woman, and that's yet another glass ceiling for us to break. In addition to which, Anne Fletcher, the director of that movie, is a choreographer. And back to what James is saying about the showgirls running Vegas, who do we want running Vegas? Someone that understands choreography as well as the general direction of a film. I think it's the obvious choice.
Interesting. Kirsten.
I have to say, at first blush, 27 dresses does sound like the option, but as maybe the only, although correct me if I'm wrong, burlesque performer on cast here, I can tell you that, showgirls and burlesque performers, we don't own many dresses ourselves. It's all jumpsuits and tearaways, I promise you. So ultimately, I have to say, if you want to really represent Vegas culture, it's got to be 50 First Dates, because what says Las Vegas more than convincing a woman that she needs to do something that she's not really sure if she wants to do, but she's not going to say no, because I guess there's a video of her doing some freaky stuff last night that says you should do this. So really, that's the one that speaks to me when I hear Vegas.
All right. Interesting. Okay. It doesn't look like we have any more arguments. I'm going to have to think about this. I think great thoughts. Great thoughts. And I'm going to have to go with, I think, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and what happens on 50 First Dates just stays wherever the hell it stays, in that little notebook that he gives her until she burns it. So 50 First Dates is going to be our Secretary of Las Vegas. You've all really helped form this new administration. Thanks very much. And it's time for one more poem. It's time for us to get serious. We have to get serious. This new administration has work to do. And the way to make sure that you're going to do the right kind of work is with a really moving poem. A poem by somebody from a country that knows poems, and that's not America. Oh no, that's England. Our final poem of the evening is presented by our special guest, Lee Harris. Take it away, Lee.
It's worth considering that this was written before the internet, before email. It's a classic like Dickens, Austen, or Shakespeare. And I'm delighted to be able to bring some desperately needed culture to tonight's proceedings. Little Rubber Playmate. Sitting at the doctor's, I picked up a magazine and I opened up the pages at the end. I saw a small advertisement and read it quietly. Have a little rubber playmate for a friend. Well, I looked around the waiting room, which was very nearly full, and made sure that no one there was watching me. And I then ripped out the advert and I put it in my pocket, and I left the mag for others there to see. I stood and left the clinic, for I didn't now feel ill. I felt fresh now that my life was due to mend. And I wrote away that evening and enclosed my £50, and I waited for my little rubber friend. In a fortnight, I was woken by the postman's heavy knock, so I ran downstairs and opened up the door. When I signed his piece of paper, he then handed me a box, and I ran inside and read the ad once more. With nervous, trembling fingers, I then opened up the box, and I saw my playmate lying limp inside. And I took her from a cardboard cage and placed her on the sofa, and she looked at me with eyes so flat and wide. I examined her and found a little nozzle at the back, so I put it in my mouth and started blowing. And then, before my very eyes, my latex lovely grew in size. The more I blew, the more she started growing. It wasn't long before my darling measured 5'4", so I sealed the nozzle airtight with a cork. And I sat her upright on the chair and played with her synthetic hair. And after half an hour, we had a talk. Well, I did all the talking. My new friend was rather shy, and I didn't want our love to ever end. And very soon our bedtime came, and so we went upstairs. I carried up my little rubber friend. I opened up the bedroom door and placed her on the bed, with a pillow resting underneath her pink synthetic head. And I knelt and prayed and thanked the Lord for all that he might send. And I went and sat beside my pink synthetic blow-up friend. I will not say what happened next. That's not for you to know. But my night was full of ecstasy and lust. And I don't think that I'm bragging when I say that in the morning my playmate couldn't handle me. She burst. And now I've lost the address of the company that made her. But I'll search for it until the bitter end. For I love my plastic person more than any other thing. And I want a rubber playmate for my friend.
That was moving. That was so moving. It almost made me want to not be an American anymore. It's not the only thing that's ever made me want. Basically, the last 4 years made me not want to be an American anymore. But Lee, thank you for that final patriotic tribute to something that we Americans think is very important, which is sex with dolls. So well done. And before we say goodbye to Lee, we have one more thing that I've got everybody to play. And I'm going to solicit the audience for some suggestions on this too. One thing that new presidents do, they try to keep their promises. So we are playing a game called Presidential Promise. So audience members, I'm looking for suggestions of promises you would like a president to keep. And I have a few that we can start with. So I'm going to throw this out to the entire cast. First promise I would like you to keep is I would like you to fight global climate change. How are you going to keep that promise? Yeah, Molly.
I promise that I will fight global climate change, and I definitely will not do it by murdering all the koalas.
Okay, good. Kirsten.
I am going to fight climate change and start by banning straws. And I will definitely not screw up on a bender one day and accidentally ban like straw as well.
Good. James.
I am going to pledge all of our excess funds in taxation, a flat tax across the top, to go toward combating climate change. And I definitely will not use that money to create a death ray that will permanently raise the temperature of the globe so that climate change can no longer exist.
Well, oh yeah, Dave.
Yes, I will definitely combat climate change, and at no point would I be purposely changing the atmosphere for our alien overlords to come over and be more comfortable. At no point would I be doing that.
Fair. Okay, Kirsten.
The first thing I want to do is enter into the Paris Agreement, which is definitely not an agreement I made with someone in Vegas named Paris.
Okay. James, you seem to have a promise.
Yes, I pledge to start summits that will lead to a stronger sense of danger in increasing the temperatures. And I definitely will not put thermostat dads in charge of it.
We don't want to do that. Yeah, Lee.
I pledge to fight climate change by ensuring that people are aware that the previous ideas that I had about global warming, that was to use it as a positive measure. Global warming means better vacations, will no longer happen.
Fair. Okay, Kelvin.
I will definitely work on climate change, providing climate wants to change. I don't feel we should be imposing our beliefs on others,
Nick.
I think that climate change is a serious issue and we need to take it seriously. And I think there are a number of ways we can combat that. And I think that one of them that I definitely won't do is launching Tim's fat mother into space to block out the majority of the sun's light, eclipsing a large part of the Earth and thus cooling it down, but also improving the general smell of Minnesota.
Okay, last one, Chris. What's your promise?
So I pledge to fight climate change with an emphasis on change. I mean, we're talking about funding, right? We're not talking about climate dollars. This is climate change. I mean, let's not get crazy here. We've got a deficit, people.
Okay, good. All right, so we're going to move on to another promise. Your promise is you are going to, oh wait, Merritt has an idea, so perhaps I don't have to give one of my own. What's the idea, Merritt?
We want to fix the drinking water in Flint, Michigan.
Okay, let's promise to fix the drinking water in Flint, Michigan. Who's going to work on that? Yeah, Chris.
I will fix the drinking water in Michigan, but I definitely won't sign an exclusive contract with Nestle to do that.
Oh, Nick. Oh, that was yours. Molly. Oh, Molly.
I'm going to fix the water in Flint, Michigan. I have a lot of experience doing this, and I know that you're thinking it's not going to be the way that I fix the pool water. I won't make it warmer. I'm going to make it cleaner and maybe a little warmer.
Okay, Kirsten.
I will absolutely fix the drinking water in Flint, Michigan. And I will not talk about the fact that y'all are still going to be living in Flint, Michigan.
Nick, you have one?
You know, I have big plans for fixing Flint, Michigan. And I'm going to do it by laying a lot of pipe. I'm going to go to Michigan and I'm going to lay so much pipe in Michigan. You won't even believe it. And that's not a euphemism, I swear.
Okay. James.
Yes, I think it's extremely important that we clarify and clean the drinking water in Flint, Michigan. And I promise that it is not so that I can then have it shipped over to California for people who have lawns to water.
Good plan. I mean, not plan. Stephanie.
I promise to fix the water in Flint, Michigan, and I absolutely will not replace it all with a big pool full of gold coins to dive into.
I'm so glad that you won't do that. Okay, Kelvin.
Yes, I will improve the drinking water in Flint, Michigan, and I will advocate a large expenditure of money to ship ice cubes and Kool-Aid to Flint, Michigan, and I want and it's going to be the real Kool-Aid. It's not going to be one of these store brands.
Yeah, well, that's super nice of you there, Kelvin, to do that. Oh, Lee, what do you think from England about Flint, Michigan?
Well, I pledge to solve the problems in Flint, Michigan, and I certainly will not be solving those problems by privatizing the water problem in Flint, Michigan. And this pledge was brought to you by the Coca-Cola Company.
Thank you. Okay, I think those were some good campaign promises. I definitely trust you to not do the things that you said you would not do. I want to see if Merritt has a suggestion before I throw. Yes, it looks like they do. What's your suggestion, Merritt?
I certainly do. In respect to our special guest this evening, we would like to know if we can pledge to make England the 51st state of the United States. We're going to jump right over, DC, Puerto Rico, all of that. We're going straight to England.
Going straight to England, 51st state. Yes, Kirsten.
I promise I am going to make Great Britain the 51st state of America, and I promise that we will not treat you as awfully as we treated the indigenous people of Hawaii.
Nice. Great. Okay. James.
Yes, we will enter into talks with the people of Britain to see if they will become the 51st state. And I definitely know that they don't have anything else going on right now. So now that they're single, we should hit them up on Facebook.
Nice. Good plan. Yeah, Stephanie.
I pledge to make England the 51st state. And I promise it is not because I think that Jonathan Groff as King George III from Hamilton is their actual, leader.
Kirsten.
I promise that I am going to make England the 51st state, and I am definitely not doing it because fuck Puerto Rico.
Yeah, Dave.
Oh, I will definitely make England the 51st state, and I am not doing it just to take the Harry Potter franchise away from J.K. Rowling. That is not a big part of the plan. That is not something that I have that will go down.
Okay. I believe Lee had something that he had to say about this.
Yes, and in fact, I'm not going to pledge to make Britain the 51st state of America. However, I do think it's inevitable. What I am going to pledge is that because I think it is such a bad fit, you will remain the USA, and we will obviously be the USB.
Okay. Let's go for Chris.
I pledge to make England the 51st state, and I am not doing that solely so that I can deep fry an entire potato and call it a chip.
Okay, James.
Yes, I think that we should make Britain the 51st state, and we definitely will not oppress them by forcing them to take up American accents.
Okay. Nick.
It's only a matter of time before England becomes the 51st state, and I have no ulterior motive. I don't have any other reasons for doing that. Thank you. Certainly not reasons like liberating Ireland. That's not a part of my plan, and 26 plus 6 definitely doesn't equal 1. That's certainly the case.
That's just math.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like it wouldn't be your plan. Okay. Well, you know what? That was Presidential Promise. You all did a great job. That is our last appearance until at the end of the show when we get to say thank you for Lee Harris. So at home, if you all can just give him a big round of applause. The sun is coming up there in England. He's probably going to go and prepare some coffee, but we'll have him back to say thank you.
Tea,
at the end of the show.
tea.
Right. Oh, tea. I don't know what they drink in England. I'm not English. All right. So we're going to play one more round of vilification tennis before we call it a night. I'm going to remind you, we are raising money for the Bryant Lake Bowl. Every dime you give us tonight goes to the Bryant Lake Bowl, and the cast has committed 530 of our own dollars to this cause. So I'll be checking in at the end of the night. We'll see how we did. Hopefully we'll be able to give all $530 to the Bryant Lake Bowl in addition to whatever you, the audience, donates tonight. PayPal.me/vilification tennis. Let's play one more round of vilification tennis at this, our inaugural balls. Nick and Chris is our first team. Let's hear it for Nick and Chris. There's Nick. And there's Chris. Looking good. Chris in her pearls. Nick, not. And they're going up against James and Kirsten. James and Kirsten, nice entrance. I'm going to remind all of you, points are scored by me saying point and also by me holding up this red flag in front of my camera. We have one more round, and then you know what? We're going to be done with this party. We're going to have to get on with the process of actually running the country for 4 years. So that's right. Final round tonight. Here we go. We're going to give the serve to Nick and Chris. The score stands at hate service.
Turkey here thinks that when you get depressed, you have to move to a blue state.
Chris, you're so stupid. You thought only Canadians could play sorry.
James is so submissive that every mode of transportation he takes is the subway.
Yeah, that's good. Service.
James's butthole is kind of like a coffee maker. You should really descale it about once a month.
And Chris's mom is a lot like Starbucks coffee. Fat.
James' dick is so small he can't legally wear long underwear.
Nick's doing all right tonight. Nick's doing all right. At your expense, James. At your expense. Service.
James's mom is so old that Facebook stole her personal data by opening a time capsule.
Chris, your mom is so old, she's the Mayan calendar girl.
You know, one of Kirsten's mom's nipples is larger than the other 5.
Did you know that Nick's favorite emoji is the eggplant emoji because it's true to size? Not the vegetable, the emoji.
You know, Kirky, your vagina reminds me of the US Capitol. They've both survived being invaded by Nazis.
Whoa.
You know, Chris, you remind me of a light bulb. I mean, not like a smart bulb, but...
James is so
Okay. I don't know why. That one just made me laugh. And maybe I felt sorry for him. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Point for James. Service.
You know, I would insult James's dick, but you know, over time I've grown to appreciate the little things in life.
You know, Chris's mom shoveled the walk last night. Nothing to do with snow. That's just how she eats Chinese food.
Oh.
James is so alt-right, he only drinks 3% milk.
Nick, you stopped drinking milk altogether because you thought the money went to the 1%.
This from the man who brags about having an authentic beaver skin hat, but it's just made out of parts of his exes.
Now, Chris, honey, I know your eyebrows are supposed to be sisters, not twins, but I gotta know, which one of yours was adopted?
Kirky, isn't it true that you are so slutty that your vagina and your butthole have now formed a union to demand a 40-hour work week?
Well, you're such a slut that you try on your shoes like this.
I mean, she took off her shoes or not. I don't know. Maybe none of us are wearing shoes. Nobody knows.
The illusion of
none
theater.
of us could be wearing pants right now. Service.
You know, go ahead, Nick.
James is so dumb, he thinks the NHS is a sports league.
Nick, you're partnered with someone who reminds me of a St. Paul side street. She only gets plowed during snow emergencies.
And James, I understand that your mom is so fat, she tried to eat her healthcare ration.
You know, thanks to The Mandalorian last year, we found out that Boba Fett did actually escape Chris's snatch.
Kirsten's uterus is like the Republican Party. Neither should ever be allowed to carry a full term.
This coming from a guy whose dick is so small it can't reach the 1 on a ruler. From the edge.
Yeah. Well, James, the United States has lasted for 245 years, and you're lucky if you can make it 3 minutes.
Hey, Nick, I have a little inauguration poetry for you. Roses are red and students are broke. And your mom is so fat that she ate this. Hey.
I don't know. I shouldn't be scoring prop humor. I really shouldn't. That's the best. But that one was all right. All right, service.
Turkey's mom is so fat, she needed a new dildo and wound up with the Washington Monument.
Chris, you remind me of a diner. Dry roast beef and buttery peas.
Turkey's face is like how we count votes. It's not popular.
You know, Biden just signed an executive order mandating masks on federal property and paper bags in Nick's bedroom.
Kristen, are you still mad because the new movie you're in is skipping the theaters and going directly to dumpstersluts.com?
It was dumpstersluts.com. The rest of the joke didn't even matter. That last part was just it was funny. Okay, service.
Sex with James is a lot like climate change. Millions of children are finally protesting.
Chris, your vagina reminds me of Sue the T-Rex. A lot of people have seen it on a field trip.
And I hear, James, that you consider yourself a U.S. Senator since you're also serving 6 years.
Says the woman with resting bitch personality.
For the last time, James, just because your girlfriend replaced your bone with something harder does not make you a fossil.
Nick's dick really reminds me of a snowplow. You're going to see it on the freeway.
You're welcome.
James, I understand that your orgasms are a lot like your socks. You get them from grandma for Christmas.
And Chris is so ugly, her husband is saving himself for his next marriage.
Okay, service.
Kristen is such a slut, she transformed the Minnesota curling team into a toe curling team.
And Nick's dick is so repulsive that Trump just pardoned it a couple days ago.
Oh.
Kirky, when you die, you're really gonna put the bitch in obituary.
Chris, your vagina reminds me of a bugle. The snack food.
The difference between my coffee mug and Kirsten's marriage is that my cup can keep things hot.
Coming from the guy who's so dumb, he thought ozone was another word for G-spot.
And your mom is so fat, Congress balances the budget by having her stand on one end.
Chris, your mom is so fat, it takes 3 nails to hang her portrait.
And your mom is so fat, she's like Gloomhaven. She has a 40-pound box.
Chris is so bad.
No, sorry, James was laughing. I saw that. James was laughing. That is
really good.
Aimed at Nick and Chris. Aimed at Nick and Chris. They get the final win here at our inaugural balls. That is the last round for tonight's show. So before we go, we have to take a look at what we've got for contributions to the Bryant Lake Bowl tonight. So to remind everybody that what we were trying to do was raise at least $530 because that's what the cast is going to match. So whatever we raise tonight, it's at least another $530. I'm pulling up what we got donated tonight. What you, the audience, have raised, and add 500 to this. That's what we're giving to the Bryant Lake Bowl. We raised $1,617 for the Bryant Lake Bowl. That is so fucking awesome. Seriously, the BLB has been very kind to us over the years. We really look forward to being able to do shows back there, and you all are going to help make that happen. That is super awesome. I do need to thank a few other people before we say goodnight. I got to thank Claire, who's been working for almost 2 hours interpreting this show. Thank you, Claire Alexander. She is donating her fee to the Bryant Lake Bowl as well. Need to thank my fabulous co-host, Merritt. Thanks for all your hard work tonight. Thank you, Merritt. Thank you to Jeffrey, who's running our stream tonight, and Eric Knight, who's running our chat tonight. And of course, I am not making this up. Lee is in England right now. He got up at 3 in the morning, his time, to do this show. The sun is coming up in England right now. Well, probably not yet. You probably operate about the same as we do, but it has been so great to have you here, Lee. Thank you so much for being our token foreign person tonight.
Thank you for letting me play.
All right. So we have been Vilification Tennis. That is it for our show, everyone. I hope you have a great night. We will be back next month. Oh, I should tell you the date of our next show, which is the Real Housewives of Vilification Tennis. That is on the 26th of February. And also on the 12th of February, we're going to be doing another Vilification Tennis Interrupt This show. That is a short half-hour show, a little earlier in the evening for you folks who are wondering why the fuck you're still awake, or to Lee, who's wondering why the fuck he's not back in bed. That show will be at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. So we'll catch you a couple of times next February. Everybody, have a good night.